All right. Like every other live, my friends, we are going to give this some time because we need to know if you guys can hear us. Ooh,
Should I say something to make sure people can hear me as well, Dan?
yeah. I
Yeah,
was just
man.
doing the introduction really quickly. Guys, when we start this, we need to know that our cameras are good. We need to know that our sound is there. So please let me know if you can hear me and my guest here today. You can introduce yourself and do a sound check, please.
All right, thanks, Dan. Hello, everybody. My name's Jim, or my YouTube handle is Scottish Guy in Moscow. If you've already seen me, I'm basically, as the YouTube handle says, a Scottish guy in Moscow. Dan's very graciously invited me on to chat, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
Awesome. So let us know on the chat, my friends, if you can hear us, if you can see us, and we've already started the live, like we said. Today's topic is going to be how to move to Russia, and we'll extend it a little bit to how to actually live in Russia once you're already here. Because I think that getting here, I would say, is the easy part, but actually staying here and making a life is another beast within itself. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I want you to kind of tell your story. How did you get interested in Russia? Right. Let's start from the very beginning. How did this even become a thought?
All right, well, to go all the way back, I would say that I grew up in a small town just outside, about 10,000 people, just outside of Glasgow in Scotland. Glasgow was like our big city that you would go to for any form of entertainment, whether it's football, music, concerts, anything like that. So the little town I grew up in, it was very sleepy, not a lot happening, not a lot of people leave, not a lot of differences. Everyone was very much the same. And for a young age, I always just wanted to see what was out there in the world. I would actually go to, what do you call them? Tour, um, Tourist shops where they have the brochures for people to go on vacations and they're free. When I was a kid, I would actually go and take them for free and just look at all these magical places. It was mainly America, Australia, New Zealand, mostly English speaking countries that I always thought that I would end up in. I always knew that I was going to be somewhere else. Um, and then spent all my sort of 20s mostly traveling, not really having a didn't really have a career or anything. I just put everything into traveling and seeing the world. And, I've been all over. I lived in New Zealand, lived in Australia. I've spent a lot of time in California, working in like summer camps with the kids.
Yeah.
And then met a really good friend who lived in San Francisco. So I would go there often. Um, and then started going through Asia, Thailand, India, South America. I was trained Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So I went to Brazil to train.
Wait.
Um,
Sorry to cut you off, but you're naming all these different places, and we're men here, and we're allowed to ask each other's age. I'm 34. Okay, could you share your age so people understand
Ah,
this is
right,
what part?
okay, yeah. I'm actually 41 years old. Um,
Okay,
so this is going back to I didn't actually even when I was a kid we didn't go on foreign holidays. We would if anybody's in the UK they'll know where Blackpool is. It's like this place where you go. I don't know what the equivalent would be, like Atlantic City or something in America, where it's all just like arcades and stuff. So I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't even really start traveling until I was about 21 when I first went to America to work in the summer camp. So I was a bit of a late starter in terms of being able to travel. My family didn't really have the money or the means to do that when we were kids. So it was always in my head. So, yeah, so I'm 41 years old. So I spent most of my time traveling. Russia never really came into my thinking until about sort of 5 years ago, roughly. So, do you want me to go straight from when I started thinking about
well,
Russia, or
no,
you want the whole thing?
no, I just wanted to know, like, when the idea came, like, when did you conceive the idea of, hey, look, here's Russia as an option to travel? Because, like, I've told my story, and I liked Russia because of National Geographic. didn't even care about Moscow, didn't care about St. Petersburg. I cared about Siberia because of Siberian tiger and the wilderness. But like, where does like the very start of Russia
Ah,
come to you?
right. Okay. Well, actually, I think it was about 2018, 2019. Me and my friend Ricardo, we went through Europe to different music festivals. We were just going to like, we were in Italy, we were in Slovakia, and we're just taking planes over the summer and just going to like these music festivals. And actually, the first time I ever thought of this region was we ended up in Kiev in Ukraine, which I know for at the moment sounds why you think about Russia, but at the time it was different right way back in 2019 for me anyway. From an outsider, I had never I'd never thought about Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, all these types of countries. Um, never really thought about going there. And then I was there and I saw the language in the metro, and I spoke to the people, and the how clean the streets were, how beautiful the people, the girls were, how the just everything about it was like completely different from Scotland, where I'm from, and of course it was summer and stuff like that. So that was probably when the first little seed was planted, and then went back to the UK, and then I started to think, okay, I want to learn this language, and then I realised that Ukrainian is different from Russian, and Russian is more widely spoken across the whole region. So then I decided, okay, it's Russian that I want to learn. Then instead of coming to Russia because of the visa process, there was, I think it's still the same. There's a 30-day visa-free entry to Minsk in Belarus. So basically, you could
Mm.
fly in from Scotland. I could go Amsterdam, Minsk in about less than 5 hours with one quick stopover for about £250, which is maybe like $300, and return. And that means I could go in there with no problems at all in terms of visa. So I started to go to Minsk in Belarus quite a lot, and I would say that I'd done like a couple of Russian lessons, and I thought, oh, that's okay. I'll go to Minsk and I'll start hanging out. I'll start speaking to people, and it just doesn't work like that at all. Like a few Russian lessons aren't going to get you far. So going there for a lot of the time, and then of course, then COVID hit in about March 2020, and I was in a sort of one bed apartment in Glasgow on my own, watching a lot of YouTubers like Bald and Bankrupt, and there was a guy in Minsk, I think he was called Irish Partisan, and these guys, and they were having all these adventures in like Belarus, Russia, etc. And of course, Bald and Bankrupt, I'm sure most people are aware of. He's probably the biggest followed YouTuber that's done videos in this region. And I was just thinking, this place is magical. It's like a whole nother world that we are not educated on in the UK.
Yeah, I would say that actually, so Eastern Europe, just how you said you was in Ukraine, the Russian people actually identify with the Ukrainians. There's a lot of Ukrainians that live here in my town. So like
Mhm.
these are one people, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. And it doesn't surprise me that that is where you said, you know what, what's up with this part of the world? Because I would say the Eastern Europeans, especially the Slavic people, and the non-Slavic people that are in Russia, they actually make up a group of people in the world that is way different than South Americans,
Mm.
way different than Europeans, way different than like North Americans. They have like a whole vibe to them. Uh,
Yes.
can you tell me, like we're gonna get to the questions by the people, but could you tell me, for me, for instance, being a Mexican American, one of the biggest differences is that they are way cleaner than I was growing up. That's one thing that I was like, oh man, this is weird. This culture shock. These people they take their clothes off when they come home, their shoes, they like wash themselves. They were way cleaner. It's not to say that I was a dirty person. It's just that's one thing that I noticed immediately. Just off the bat, just one thing that completely blew your mind when you noticed it.
Oh yeah, I mean just to follow on from that point, yeah, the washing. your hands as soon as you come in to a building, right away. The little plastic shoe covers, everywhere. Like they put the shoe. Like I go to the gym and I wear my indoor shoes to the changing rooms, then change into like gym shoes to be in the actual gym. But they've got the little shoe protectors. They come into the house. Or if you go in somewhere with an outdoor jacket on, like somewhere that serves food, it'll be like, oh, you got to take that off immediately, and yeah, that's one thing I would say. Like that, I thought I was well travelled because I'd been to South America, Asia, Australia. I'd lived in other countries, but I'd only really lived in English-speaking countries. So Australia's pretty much like the UK with better weather. America is cool, but we know a lot about America and the UK from movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So coming here, or Belarus, etc., they've got a whole vibe going on, like you said. They've got their whole culture that we're just not even privy to. We don't know anything about it. And of course, what we're taught in media, like when you grow up, all the bad guys in the movies are Russian, and like, oh, it's scary. It's the people are unfriendly. It's dark. It couldn't be further from the truth. So, sorry, man. I think I've got away from your initial question, but what you just
No,
said, how
you've
did I?
answered it. You've
All right,
answered it.
cool, man. Cool,
Let's
yeah.
all right, we're guys, if you're just joining us, this is Jim. This is Scottish guy in Moscow. He's our guest this weekend. And the reason why I brought him on is because as an American, we think we're the only ones who exist in the world. We feel like, oh, we're the only ones traveling, but actually, when I started seeing his videos, I was like, what the hell? First of all, you have to get used to his accent, right? I'm not saying that I have great English, but the Scottish people have a little twang to it. But actually, his channel, which we're gonna take a look at it right now, is like it's the real deal. He's walking through the Moscow neighborhoods. He's showing us what real life is like. And not a lot of channels are really doing that. They're like, even I'm not doing that anymore. And I want to get back to it. I really enjoy, you go to this place and I know what it's like living in Russia, but you really show it in your videos. And we're gonna go ahead and take some questions from the viewers, and then we're gonna get to your channel, all right? So, guys, if you're just watching us right now, this is going to be a video dedicated to how to move to Russia. So, if you guys have any questions for me or my guest, please do ask now. We're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes answering the questions now. All right. This is a good question here that I'm going to let you answer, but because you actually work in Russia, so you can give us a little bit of input on how it is to work.
Yeah, man. So basically, I'm a teacher, like a school teacher. I think when you tell people you're a teacher in a foreign country, they think you're an English teacher, as in you're like teaching people one-on-one how to speak English. I'm like, no, I work in a school, just like I would work in a school in any other country, but it's of course a private school where parents pay money. So it's not a public school. It's not like a local school that you'd work for in the government. So it's a private business, and we teach the British curriculum to Russian children, but their parents want them to be educated by the British system in English, with probably the view of going to university in an English-speaking country. So maybe they're going to want to go to university in America or the UK, or maybe they just want them to be bilingual. So that's basically what I do. So the question being, do I get paid? I get paid just in the local currency, which is rubles. And in terms of the sanctions, the only difficulty is trying to send money out of Russia is not as easy as it may have been in the past. But it's not I can still do it with my bank. I'm bank with a bank called OTP, which is actually a Hungarian bank, but it's very big in Russia, but not one of the main Russian ones. So I can still, if I want to send money to my UK account, I can still do that. It's probably just not as simple as it once was. But because I work for a Russian company, they pay me in rubles, and then it's up to me what I do with those rubles: spend them in Russia or send them elsewhere.
All right. So guys, if you don't know, I'm actually in Russia under a tourist visa. Uh a tourist visa is fairly easy to get as an American. Jim, did you travel to Russia the first time under a business visa or a tourist visa?
I should really have done my homework here. So what I did was, when I got the job, I had to apply for the visa before I arrived. So it wasn't a tourist visa. I think, I could be wrong, I think it was a single entry business visa. And then once I
Hmm.
arrived, the HR department of my job, there was a lengthy process, well, even before I came, it was like fingerprints, HIV test, doing all the paperwork, etc., the sponsorship, a letter of invitation from the company that I work for. And then once I arrived, it was like I had to redo it all again, narcotics test, HIV test, all the paperwork. I'm lucky because I, obviously work for a Russian company. Then they have an HR department who basically do the legwork for me and then say, sign here, sign here, sign here. To do it on my own, or I think to do it on your own completely would be very difficult. I think if you're marrying like a Russian citizen, then that would be very helpful. And but to come here might be a little bit tricky without any form of help from someone who is local and fluent in Russian.
No, I would actually disagree with that. Like I came a damn understanding of one word, and one thing that I do agree is like uh, visa centers, guys. If you want to travel to Russia, the best thing you can do is just apply in a visa center. I did the same. I paid the money. They took care of everything. I have 3-year visa as a tourist. I do plan on getting married here in Russia, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, which is going to facilitate my stay because I can apply for residency. But if you want to come to Russia, Jim and I, we both either paid somebody or they did it for us as employers.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sam. So my best advice is for you guys is if you want to travel to Russia in 2024, right now as we're speaking, apply for your visa as soon as possible because things are going to get harder. They might close uh, the visas for some countries. It was really hard for me to get back into Russia this time because of what happened, the terror attack in here in Russia. So things are only going to get crazier down the line. If you're just joining us, this is my guest Jim. By the way, you just hit 3,000 subscribers. Congratulations.
Thank
It
you, and
feels really
thanks
cool.
to anyone who's subscribed, who's watching this. I really appreciate it. I'm just starting out about 6 weeks ago, so you probably know yourself, Dan. The hardest part is getting a few people to watch the first videos. Because why are you going to click on somebody with no subscribers and no views? So I appreciate the 3,000 people, definitely. And can I
Yeah,
just can
I
I just point
honestly,
can I just say
go
one
ahead.
thing, Dan? I wasn't trying to put MD off coming to Russia. I think what I was saying is, if you try to do it completely on your own, it's to fill in all the paperwork. You're better to do what you've said: a visa center. You can pay a small fee. They will just tell you, bring this, this, and this. They will help you fill it in, and then you sign everything. I think that's definitely better than trying to just print off things from the internet and fill them in yourself. Just pay someone a few. It's not even expensive, just for a little bit of help. The one I went to in the UK, there's one in Edinburgh. I ended up going to the one in London because I was going to London anyway, and I was just, they sent me all the stuff to bring, and I was in and out within about 10 minutes, and then I had the visa within a week or so, I think.
It's so simple. Like for me, it took no 2 weeks. And actually, this is a really good question here. Well, this is not the question, but this guy's planning to move and marrying his girlfriend this year. Look, do it as soon as possible. You're only gonna get older. I realized that in my 30s, as a 34-year-old, I wish I would have found Russia in my 20s, after serving in the military. I I obviously can't turn back the hands of time, but that is one of the only things that I could think of, like, that I would change in my life. And I've made so many mistakes and I've gone through so many things in life, but I wish I would have discovered this place earlier. I want to answer this question, which is really important, and because a lot of people with dual citizenships, some citizenships actually work better than others. I'll tell you what, I traveled to Russia on an American visa because I can stay up to 6 months, but I'm going to get married under my Mexican citizenship because then Ksenia can receive Mexican citizenship much faster and she can travel through Europe. The American passport is not so strong, aside from it giving you 6 months to stay in Russia. Um, do you know how long you could stay as a normal tourist, like a Scottish tourist, or is it like a European Union passport? I'm not sure.
Well,
What is it?
Scotland's not actually in the European Union anymore because we're part of Great
Brexit.
Britain.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree with it, but what can I do about it? So I think you can come for up to three months. Although I'm not on a tourist visa, but I do know that you can now do everything. Well, from the UK anyway, you can do it all online. You don't even have to go to the embassy anymore to get the tourist visa. I've got an Irish friend here who actually, just talking about passports, he gets through the airports a lot quicker than me. Just being Irish, on the Irish passport seems to have a little bit of less questions at the airports when arriving. But I think a lot of that's just to do with your luck. Sometimes you'll be stopped to asked a few questions, but the Irish passport seems to get through a little bit quicker than the British passport. But yeah, I think it's 3 months on a tourist visa, which can be obtained online now without having to go to an embassy. So if anyone wants to, well, from the UK anyway, that I know, if anybody wants to just come here, it's not that much more hassle than going to any other European city. There'll probably just be a few extra forms to fill in, but it's not an impossible task. I would say that it's not all flights are going to go here. The best route is probably through Turkey at the moment. You fly to Turkey and you change in Istanbul or Antalya, I think it's called, and then on
Yeah.
to Moscow.
Nice. All right, guys, we're going to go take a look at his channel right now. And the reason why I want to show you some of these videos is I think it's important for you to understand that because I live in Siberia, the kind of content that I make, sometimes I speak, sometimes I do go outside and, show you where I fish and stuff like that. But I think it's fascinating that expats come from all over the world and they kind of adjust to different parts of Russia. Russia's absolutely vast. I couldn't live where he lives just because it's a little bit overwhelming. And that's why I like to look at other people's content. So we're going to go look at one of the videos here of him just showing you his neighborhood. And let me know if the sound is on.
Всем привет, добро пожаловать из Моskva. Hello everybody and welcome from
Is the
Moscow.
sound on, guys?
Now, have you ever
I can hear
wondered
it this time.
what a real
Okay.
Moscow neighborhood is like? Where people live, go to work, go shopping, and go about their normal day-to-day activities. Away from the Red Square, Bolshoi Theatre, St. Basil's Cathedral. Well, if you have, I'm about to show you what one looks like. We're going to look at my neighborhood, Shabalovskaya. Let's go.
How did you choose, by the way? Did you look for this place? Did you look through many parts of Moscow before you decided to stay there, by the way?
Well, Moscow really, for me anyway, is dependent on the metro system. If you're close to a metro station, then you're good, because being from Scotland, I'd never seen a city as vast as this, not even London. If you come out, I live on, well, I'm not going to tell you the exact street I live on, but it's like 10 lanes, it's 5 lanes each way, just to walk out onto the road in front of my house. We've got motorways, like smaller than that. So
Yeah.
it's it can be quite overwhelming to begin with. So what I did is I tried to choose an apartment that was close to the metro, close to where I work, close to the center, and then the people at my job, they helped me get it.
Nice. This is or let's continue here. I fast forwarded to this street so we can actually get a street view.
There that runs through Shabalovskaya. Behind me goes to the metro station Oktyabrskaya. I'm probably saying that wrong, Oktyabrskaya. And right up ahead, once we get past all the shops, businesses, we'll get to Shabalovskaya, then we'll continue. This is the main shopping mall here. You can see the guys are cleaning the windows. Inside there's a Perirostok. Am I saying that right? Perirostok. That's like we're in the UK, that's like the Asda of Russia. And there's other independent shops where you can get your phone fixed and all that kind of thing.
Do you get we'll go back to the video, but do you get looked at? Does anybody like this guy speaking English while you're recording? I've always wondered about other people.
Do you know what? That was probably the thing that I thought the most. I think because it's a big city, probably not. Probably you would get more looks where you are because you're in a smaller community. I mean, there's young people set up tripods doing TikTok dances and stuff. Like, you just don't give it a second thought because it's such a big city. And even when I went to, I saw you did a video as well, the tank exhibition.
Yeah.
We were literally like shoulder to shoulder with people looking at these British tanks, American tanks, and I'm talking English, and nobody cared. No, I've never had one bad experience because of the camera. I use a little GoPro, so it's quite small, and I'm very respectful with it. I'd never put it in anyone's face. If I'm in a confined area, to use it. If I'm in like the actual metro, if I'm sitting, it's just being respectful. I mean, Russians are very respectful people. There's a lot of respect here, as you know. There's not, when I'm on public transport or things like that, there's never any hassle. There's never anybody being obnoxious or loud, or like in Scotland, like after a football game and everyone's like a bit crazy. Like, you never see any of that. I mean, maybe it happens, but I've not witnessed it. So I just make sure I'm very respectful with the camera, and no one really, I mean, maybe somebody will have a glance, but no one cares.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, during that section of the video, I noticed there was also like a little tram thing or like another train on the street coming behind. How many forms of transportation would you say are in your part of the city? Because I can say there's only two here in Srilanka. There's a minibus and there's maybe a taxi, so it's 1.5.
Oh, we got
just to give an
everything.
idea to the people.
So we got the bus, we got the metro, so that's the underground metro. Then you've got the tram, which you saw there. We've got another thing called Emsaka. Somebody's going to tell me I'm saying that wrong. It's like the big ring that goes around. It's basically like a train. But it's really big, much bigger than the metro. You've got smaller buses like marshutkas, which are like more like mini buses that probably go out into the suburbs. The taxis. I mean, I went before we did this morning. I went to the Darwin Museum, and we're like, right, okay, where's the nearest metro? And I just checked the taxis, about a 15-20 minute taxi. It was like 200 rubles. So what's that, about $2, something like that? And I just thought, let's just take a taxi. So the taxis for me, people tell me the taxis are a lot more expensive than they used to be, but the taxis for me are like, they're so cheap. Sometimes if it's raining and you don't want to walk to the metro, I'll just take a taxi,
I think the fact that there's so many options, obviously there's more competition. I've never seen as much form of transportation than existed in Moscow. When I got there, I was like, okay, there's this river thing. Even
the river boats,
even though it's like a tour, you can literally go from one point of the city to the other and use that as an excuse as transportation. I also noticed that there's not only taxis, but you can actually rent a car from Yandex on the street.
Yeah. So
That to me was, yeah.
So they basically the Yandex app. If anybody's not been to Russia, they might not know what Yandex is. It's basically like their Google, Amazon, Uber Eats, everything wrapped up into one. So they've got what I've been using a lot is the scooters. You just they're just parked on the road, which blows my mind because they would need to be chained up in Scotland. But here, you just open it up with a QR code, jump on,
That's right.
drive, and you just drive. And the pavements are so wide, sidewalks so wide that you drive to where you need to be, and then you just leave it. And then the next person takes it, and no one vandalizes them, no one steals them, no one does anything bad to them, and they're just there until the weather gets too bad. But yeah, they also have this with cars. So you have, again, I've only been in them once. It wasn't me driving, but it was a friend. But we were going somewhere, and they said, "Well, we'll just drive." And I thought, "What do you mean?" And again, just open the app, QR code, jump in, drive to where you need to be, leave the car, take a photograph to make sure you've not damaged it, and you're good. I mean, they've just got. I think, I honestly think this stems from the low crime rate that, or the non-existent crime that I see in Moscow. To be able to have all of this stuff and for it to work so well really relies on people treating it well, treating it properly, not stealing, not breaking anything, not vandalizing anything. And I think that is one of the reasons that everything works so well.
Yeah, I don't believe that the things that exist in Moscow, let's say Moscow, because some things actually don't exist outside of Moscow because they wouldn't be able to either handle the weather, handle the society. Like there's bad places everywhere, guys. And but for the most part, in Moscow, it is like it's an ascended society as far as what I've ever witnessed in my life. It's on another level. Let's move on here in this part. Let's go watch a little bit more of the video because I want people to notice the streets and see how the people walk.
If you jump it on maybe like 1 minute, there's a good little scene outside the
church.
church.
A lot of people in my comment section were asking
just
to see
maybe
some
just
churches,
like
so let's have
there's
a look
like a little about there.
Those would be gone overnight.
Oh, go back just a little bit. There's a little, because there's like a collection box there, just maybe there.
Okay. We'll
you just don't really see that here. It's the same with the scooter that I was on earlier. The scooters, nothing's chained up. They sit there, you just leave it wherever you finished using it. And here's another couple of them here. And then they're still there the next day. Now, that might not be surprising to many Russians, but in the UK, big cities, London, Glasgow, Birmingham, those would be gone overnight. And then they put more out, and those would be gone as well. Now, the weather's just beginning to get a little bit warmer. It's still not really warm, but it's starting to get a little bit better. So people are sitting outside, having coffee, having drinks. And this one at the end, Mates, it doesn't have an outdoors place, but this is where I go for my breakfast. Not every day, but if I decide to eat out and you want breakfast in Chabalovska or coffee, you want to come here.
I feel like I've seen that place.
Beautiful church. My knowledge on churches and religion is not the high.
You know, I forgot to ask you, and in a lot of your videos, you introduce yourself or you say hello in Russian. How good is your Russian?
Well, apparently it's not very good because I've been in a lot of my videos. I've been saying, "Hello, everybody, welcome from Moscow." Like I would say, "Welcome from Glasgow," but people are saying in Russia you don't say that. You should just be saying like, "Hello, everybody, it's Jim from Moscow," or something like that. But no, I've been studying Russian for about 3 years now. I would say I'm at a conversational level if someone is willing to be patient with me. I can speak to my teacher for like an hour in Russian, but it's because she knows what I know, and she can set me up and she can help me.
Yeah.
The problem for me comes is when you're in just like a fast situation, like you're just getting served at a counter and they ask you something that you don't know the word for, and then it breaks down. Then I've got to start saying, no, I don't really understand. And so you can get back. I know a lot of guys here who don't speak. I've got an Irish friend that doesn't speak one word of Russian, and he's got no problems. He has got no
That's
problems.
me.
He goes out. Yeah.
I put this
I guess
comment
if
on
you're...
here because it's...
Sorry, man. Cut you
I
off.
put this comment on here because I thought it was really funny. A Scottish guy has... Anyone ever told you that you look scarier than a Russian? I'm Russian and I'm afraid of you. You're not in the right country. You know, the stereotypes are so funny, man. Scottish people, because of their whole war era with England, like you guys, your accent and just your persona, this guy's got a point. Like you do fit in quite well into a Russian society. Do you think that way that you look is actually a plus? Like your physical, your hair color, your eyes, your skin tone, has that kind of blended you in? Do people, if you don't speak, know that you're not Russian?
Oh yeah, I think people know right away that I'm not Russian. A few people in my comments have said that I look like Chechen. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe not. I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to just open that open that box. But because I've shaved it down a little bit for a while, the beard was getting quite long. So
Yeah, but they take their mustache off.
is that what it is? Yeah. No, I don't. There's not. I mean, I've got ginger hair. Obviously, there's not a lot of ginger people from Russia, so I guess I stick out, and I'm quite tall as well, so I probably don't look like I'm from here. Because a lot of times when I speak Russian to people, they'll immediately speak back in English, and then I just feel like I'm trying my best, and you're just speaking to me in English. So I
From
think they're trying to help me.
experience, yeah, from experience, when I hear like British people or anybody from the island of Britain, the British island, speak any language, their accent transfers over to whatever language they speak. It's very hard, in my opinion. Like if I say "здравствуйте," like, or if I say I don't know, just anything. I think because of Spanish translates a little bit better into Russian. We use the same sounds. I don't know if you guys, I mean, like, just say "здравствуйте."
Здравствуйте. Well, I would say in Scotland is a lot different than England. In Scotland, we have the R sound, and a few people have told me that actually translates well into Russian rather than say Russian or Russian. So we roll the R a little bit more, but no, for sure, people 100% know that I'm not Russian, even if I'm trying really hard to speak. Because one thing I've noticed, I think, in the UK, for example, you can drive for 1 hour and the accent is completely different. I think in Russia, it's more of a standardized accent across the whole country. I know it's not the same across the whole country, but they've got less dialects, maybe. So I think even when you're speaking Russian, they know right away because you sound completely different.
Nice. Let's. I'm gonna put on this other video that you mentioned, because you're gonna have to tell us the backstory on this girl that you're traveling that went with you. It's right here.
Доброе утро, всем привет из Моskvy. Hello everybody and welcome from Moscow on this sunny Sunday morning. It's 9 a.m. and I'm here in the Zamoskvorechye district of Moscow. And why am I here? Well, one of my friends live here and she saw my video of me showing you around my neighborhood and she said to me, Scottish guy in Moscow, how about you come to my neighborhood and I'll show you my 5 favorite places. So I'm here, we're about to meet her. Her name's Lisa. Let's go. Right, we're not off to a good start.
Let's get to the start.
Let's do it.
So that's literally my building, the building where I live. It's like behind us, the other side. We are on Pyatnitska Street. It's actually the first place which I wanted to show you. It's one of my favorite streets.
Should we have a look at the street?
Yes.
That is magnificent.
So clean.
I'll pause it there. If you've never been to Moscow, guys, when I first went to Moscow, it looked like a Hollywood scene where like people were going to act. It looked so clean that it looked fake. It looked like a movie set to me. And when you panned out, I was like, yeah, that's the Moscow that I remember. It looked exactly like a movie scene. Can you explain how you met this girl so that other people, like a lot of guys want to travel to Russia to meet girls? Was it hard for you to make friends like this girl here?
That's Lisa. She's my friend. But we actually met on a dating app a long time ago. But we met up, and there was no romance. We were just friends. And she's actually been to Scotland a few times, so she really enjoys Scottish culture. And then we've just hung out a few times, went for coffee and stuff like that. And then I knew when I was going to do these videos, it would be really interesting to get a local. And I knew she would be. She's an English teacher, so she's got very good English, and she's she's a good talker, etc. And she also stays right in the centre, so that where she was living, it's not far from where I stay, but it's just up a level of architecture, up a level of beauty, the area that she lives in. So I just asked her if she'd show me about, and I think the video came out really well. I wasn't sure how it was going to be, how I was going to be able to interact with someone while walking about, but she was a natural, and she's in Japan just now. She plays like flag football, but when she gets back, we're probably going to do another video.
Nice. Let's see what she's got to say about the Ekaterina the Great Martyr Church.
Second.
Favorite place?
Mm-hmm.
It's the church. Well, I'm not that like religious, but I'm a believer, and I love the holidays, especially the ones which are connected with pagan holidays. And
Paganism.
yeah, because all the holidays, like Christmas and everything is connected, with pagan holidays.
Nice.
Go to my favorite church.
So can we go inside?
Yes.
Let's go. Check it out. Lisa's favorite church.
You guys are sorry. Yeah, this is where I wanted to pause, guys, because if you don't know, the Orthodox, like on outside of the church, they're gonna give something for the women to cover their head. It's very unusual, I would say, here in Siberia, where they're a little bit more conservative, to see a woman without covering her head in the church. Usually, tourists may do it, but this is something that is very traditional and it carries on into today. You're going to see the women covering their heads like this. So this is not like I don't know, unusual to see, by the way.
It's a willow, right? You don't know.
I'm not sure.
Everything is preparing.
So Lisa, what religion were we seeing there?
It's Orthodox Church.
Could you tell maybe just really quickly to people maybe not who don't live in Russia, maybe in the UK or America, like what that means?
The Orthodox.
Yeah,
It's
what's
just like
the
another
difference?
side of. There are Catholic,
Uh-huh.
and there is an Orthodox Church. It's just like it's
is it
Christianity.
within
The
Christianity?
same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like in Scotland, we've got Catholic and Protestant. So
And
it's-
actually, when you cross,
yeah.
you got a left side, like left shoulder first, and we got the right shoulder first.
Right. Okay.
Oh, it's
You
true.
want to?
Let's have a quick look. Yeah.
Wow, I never realized that. I didn't know that they went like to the. I'm even when I go to the right, I would get confused what I have to do next.
Yeah.
So how? Let's move on a little bit about you meet her on a dating app. This was something that was really interesting because a lot of guys are talking about women, 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 women. Are you not intimidated by the Russian woman? Like if you were on the dating apps, uh, what would you say is something different that you were experienced with these Russian girls opposed to the girls in your home country?
Differences in girls. I would say that. I mean, a lot of girls here, as if you're single and you arrive and you're single and you download a dating app. There's definitely not so much hookup culture, you might call it. It's more girls are more focused on finding a good man for a relationship, and there's a lot more respectfulness in the dating where of course the man would pay, the man will choose the place, he will pay, but it's I've never done it, but it wouldn't be crazy for a man to bring flowers on a first date. It's just not something I would do, but you would see it. If it's when the woman arrives, you would take her jacket, you would hang it up, you would pull the chair out, you would push it in. It just seems a lot more chivalry, is that the right word for it, for men, and it's a lot more traditional, I would assume. And
So
yeah, sorry, on you
do
go.
not, no, I'm sorry, do not travel to Russia for sex. This is one thing I'm always talking about because I know there's a lot of creeps out there. This is not the 1990s, guys. I've said it many times. Back in the 90s, there was like the sex, the mail order Russian bride. A lot of people have that mentality. And actually, it's going to backfire. If you're looking just for that, you're going to find a bad Russian wife who's going to take your money. And this happens in any part of the country. If you come looking for sex, it usually means that you're a person who's just perhaps uh, has the wrong intentions and you're willing to put your money on the line and you're going to end up having a bad time. Russia is not like a sex attraction. If you want that kind of stuff, maybe I don't even want to say go somewhere else because I don't like that kind of stuff. But Russia is definitely not the place to come to. I live here. I live here now, and I take it personally when people have that kind of mentality. Be a good person. You can find a beautiful Russian woman and build a relationship. Like Jim said, the chivalry really counts here. They want a real man. So if you're coming for the wrong reasons and you're not going to be a good man, forget about it. Don't even travel. Don't even get that visa. This is my advice. Save your money.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
agree entirely. There's a lot of respect here between men and women. And women are very respectful of themselves as well. So definitely not. What I've found is, for example, like Lisa, if you meet someone and then there's no romantic connection, become friends, because it's great to have like, for example, when we did the video, it's great to have someone that I know that can show me around, whether a girl or a guy. Just be respectful, be nice to people, because you're in someone else's country and you don't know the culture. It takes a long time to understand cultural norms, and you definitely don't want to, and you can be disrespectful just by accidentally, by not knowing certain things. So yeah, absolutely, definitely not the place to come if that's what you're thinking about coming for. And we're not just saying that; it really isn't. You'll have a hard time here if you come for that reason.
So I think personally, because I'm fixing to get married, I think that this might be one of the most. I mean, it's the most serious relationship I've ever been in, but it started from the very beginning, very serious. It was like I was going steady with Xenia, and there was like no games being played. And she let me know immediately that if there was going to be games played, she was going to be up for it. Like, she had a very strong attitude. And I remember in America growing up, I don't know how the culture is now, but like that hookup culture that you said, I didn't know that didn't exist everywhere, right? Like, because I thought it was just everywhere, but certainly doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned here in Russia. Uh, I think that's fascinating, and we're gonna take some questions from the viewers now, guys. If you're just joining, this is Jim. He is a Scottish man who's living in Moscow, and I would say probably the only Scottish guy living in Moscow until somebody else finds another one and records him. So if you guys have any questions, he is a teacher in Russia, in Moscow. He's obviously a foreigner. How long have you been in Russia for?
August 24th, so we're talking maybe 8 months. 8 months.
Yeah,
maybe.
8 months. So between those 8 months, guys, you can ask him any questions to see what kind of experience you can get if you travel to Russia and you stay here for 1, 2, 3, 4 months. Um, it's really interesting. Let's see. How was it for you coming into Russia? This is a good question. They control their borders.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, as I said, going back to getting the visa, it was like HIV test, fingerprints, all the forms. When I arrived, they probably kept me for about 2 hours, and there was a bunch of us. And I've obviously, now that I've learned, so I came up, I was on the plane with my friend from Ireland, who's also a teacher, and he got through, I guess, on the Irish passport. I just got asked to sit down, and then, but I'd been told that this might happen, and then someone came up. They asked me what you doing here. I suppose I was able to speak Russian to him, so I think he liked that, and he said, "Okay, have another seat." And then they came back, and it was probably about 2 hours in total that I had to wait. I've heard of people being caught for a couple of hours. I've heard of people getting let right through. It depends. I've also been told it depends on the airport that you fly into. So don't be alarmed if you're coming for the first time and they keep you for a couple of hours. It's not like they're keeping you in a cell or anything. You're just still sat on the benches before you get to go through that final passport control. And there was an English guy. There was actually an English guy there. He was a chef, and he'd said to me, "Oh, I've got a wife. I live here. Don't worry, this happens." Just the way it is. You're just going to have to factor that in. I suppose if someone's picking you up at the airport, just let them know it might take you a little bit longer than if you were flying to Spain or something like that.
Yeah, people get intimidated. Like I've been into coming in and out of Russia so many times that I expected, and this is really good stuff, man. Because people need to know that it's okay if you get questioned for 2 hours, right? I mean, I personally want a safe country where I'm going to be living. I would expect them to hold me and ask me whatever the hell they want and let me go on my way. I think this is a very good process. Let's Jim. They want to know, why did you initially move to Russia? This is Gray Timmons. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually going to be visiting. Maybe he joined the stream a little bit later. So could you give us just again the origin story, but a shorter version?
Yeah, well, as we spoke about at the start, I'd first 2019. I'd travelled all over the world, lived all over the world. Never been to this region. Ended up at a music festival in Kiev, Ukraine, and just was blown away by that city. Then decided I want to sort of learn second language. Decided to learn Russian, and this is before the situation, etc., for sanctions. So I didn't know anything about the politics of the region. Then started going to Belarus because that was the easiest option visa-wise. There was no visa needed. I could fly in and out. And then once I decided to move, Moscow was always going to be the first choice. It's the biggest city. It's the most populous. It's where in my line of work, where the most work is. And I was probably going to do it earlier, but then COVID happened. So I'd actually had a job interview whenever COVID kicked off to this. Was it 2020? Was that when it happened?
It was like the end of 2019, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was roughly about, because as a teacher, you always start in August. So you usually do the job interview about January. And so I thought I had the job, and then it kicked off, and that was 2020. So then that was like 2 years of just being in Glasgow, watching Baldwin Bankrupt's videos and just thinking, as soon as it happens, I'm going to get there. And so then, yeah. And the reasoning, I mean, as I get older, I just want a clean, safe city to live in. I mean, where I'm from, Scotland, the politics is very left. It's not particularly what I agree with. I don't want to preach to anyone. I don't expect anyone to do what I tell them or believe what I tell them, but also I don't want to be preached to. So just being in an environment where I want to settle down. I love my job. I love the line of work I'm in. Obviously want to have a family one day and bring them up in an environment that I agree with in terms of lifestyle, politics, ethics, etc. So that's mainly the reasons that I'm here. But I'm definitely here for the long term, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna pop these questions up. Like I'm gonna scan the chat. I don't know if you can see them on the screen.
I can see them. Yeah.
Nice. And then just give a quick answer because I'm gonna be moving fairly quick. So you can answer this one while I look for the next question.
Keep it quick then, yeah. The nightclub, what are the nightclubs like? You're probably talking to the wrong guy. I'm 41 years old. Maybe talk to my 25-year-old Irish friend. I do know that the place is a lot of fun here. It's a lot of fun, but I'm more like shisha and restaurants. But I'd imagine it'd be great. The food is amazing. There's everything. I love Georgian food that I'd never even heard of. I love Georgian food now after being here, but they've got everything that you can. Even Mexican restaurants. There's Mexican restaurants here you wouldn't believe. So food is fantastic. I'm not religious whatsoever. But again, I don't tell anybody not to be religious. But for me, I'm just an observer when it comes to religion. Did you watch the victory play? I watched it on the laptop with my girlfriend. We watched it. It was very cold that day. It was snowing, so we didn't actually go out that day. Just watched it online. Crypto again. I kind of missed out on that crypto vibe. Although I do know people who use it, and yes, they do use it too. But I do know that if you do it too much, you can get your bank account blocked. So how do you get an apartment? How do you move? What are the problems you have? My job helped. I just gave my job what I want. I want to be near the metro. I want to be quite central, and they found an apartment for me. If not, then you can find. There's plenty of websites you can do it. The problems that you may have would be that the landlord has to register a foreigner, which is a slightly not difficult but different process. So not everyone wants to rent to a foreigner, but of course there's lots of us here, so you can definitely find it. Russian women, they're very beautiful. What can I say? The most beautiful in the world, I'd say.
All right, let's see. We got more questions. Thank you so much, by the way, for answering. You're doing a great job.
No, it's fun for me. It's
this
interesting.
Is awesome. Yeah, let's see. Looks like here we go. Let's get back on the bike.
There's one in the centre called White Rabbit, which is a 1 Michelin star restaurant, and it came to about $70 for like 2 people. There was like dinner, drinks, etc. Blah blah blah. So it was great value for money. That's probably the best restaurant in Moscow that I know of. Do you need a flatmate? No, I'm too old for a flatmate. I'm not. I wouldn't want to live with anyone. I like my own space. I don't want to share with anyone.
Just to recap, guys. At 41, it seems like the nightlife is over, and you don't want to be around anyone. That's pretty funny. All right, let's see.
What has your experience been with Russian? Well, I've got private healthcare, so it's absolutely outstanding. Like, if you need, what did I have? I think it was long COVID. I was getting recurring headaches, and you would go and they done every test possible. Things that I didn't even know, where they like shine a strobe in your eyes and they have the little on your head. And from what I understand, the healthcare is fantastic. I think you're probably going to want private healthcare though if you're a foreigner. The work environment between workers and employees, it's the best job I've ever had. I love it. It's a lot of British people that I work with because it's obviously an English-speaking school that I work in. But the HR department are all Russian people, and everything is just with a fine-tooth comb. Like when we get paid, our holidays, etc., everything works like clockwork. Do many speak? I would say younger people speak English, yes, and if you're in anywhere in the service industry, they're probably going to speak English. I would say it's not as common as like if I'm a British guy going to Spain on holiday, then not every place is going to have an English menu. But if you stick to the centre, if you're going on your own, you're going to get by. I know people that live here that don't speak any Russian whatsoever. Spoken English well. Thank you for the chat. If you could understand me, then you can understand English.
That's why I put that comment, because it's hilarious. Let's keep going here. And by the way, guys, the most important thing about these lives that I think that we get from it is actually building a community. Jim here, our guest, he started maybe a little bit over a month ago recording, perhaps. And his life experience is much different than mine, and mine is much different than someone else's. So if you're planning on coming to Russia, you can obviously peek through the window of my channel, his channel, and I think it's always important to stick together. So if you're in the live right now, consider yourself part of the community. It's because people like you guys who watch these videos that we actually even produce them, right? I don't think there would be motivation. Well, I mean, just for documenting, but actually motivation. It does feel good when you guys comment. It does feel good when you guys interact with us. I truly appreciate what you guys are doing right now in asking the guest questions, because as far as I'm concerned, this is why YouTube exists, to bring people together. So thank you so much, and let's continue with the questions.
Have you met Khabib? No, never. I've not been down, but he's Dagestan, I think. But a few of my colleagues went to Dagestan on a weekend trip. Apparently, it's beautiful.
That's awesome, man. I want to go there.
Favorite dish? I like borscht, but I think that might be Ukrainian. People might correct me, but it's the purple, like a soup.
They have a fight between who invented it, man. Don't say it's Ukrainian.
I
Don't
could
say
be
it's
wrong
Russian.
with that, but I like draniki, which is like the potato pancakes as well. That's really good. Probably draniki. Let's go for that. I'm sure that's Russian. Is the Russian weather? No. Scotland doesn't get as cold, but it rains more, so you can do less things outdoors, and you can't plan ahead because you can't be guaranteed to have that beautiful summer. Here, the winter is very cold, but because everything runs so well, you can get about on public transport, and at least it doesn't rain, so you're not wet. So as long as you wrap up, then you're good. But it does get, But one of my best friends here is an Australian guy from Tasmania, and the cold doesn't bother him. So I don't know. It depends, but I'd say the weather's better here. I agree with that being at 39.
Yeah. From all the things that we said about being 41, not wanting the nightclub, not needing roommates, this guy agrees with you, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, no, for sure. I've spoke to that guy, British Chef. I've spoke to him online, I think. I think he commented on a few of my videos. So he's a good guy.
What is this?
KHL, is that hockey?
Yeah, I think it's like Russian hockey.
I've been to one Russian hockey game, but I'd probably be lying if I can remember. I think it's CSKA, which in Scotland we know as CSKA, because they have like the football team and stuff. Love the thanks, Ron. Love the accent. Would either of you daily drive a Russian car? I don't think I would drive a Russian car. Where I am, there's no need. I think you're probably at a disadvantage having a car, having to park it and go through the traffic, because everything's so good. But I do love the ladder and how it looks. It's so cool, so retro. Sports fan? I'm not a huge sports fan. I mean, I watch football and things like that, as everyone does from where I'm from. But if I thought it'd probably be CSKA, because there's a guy that took me around He's actually one of the, what do you call them, like football hooligans, like for
Yeah,
that
hooligan.
club. He showed me around a little bit, and he's going to be in one of my videos. So I've got to say, Siska,
All
he's
right.
a nice guy.
All right, guys, get ready. This one, which I'm gonna put on right now. You better not cheat. You better not even think about overreading this. You stick to the lines, Jim, and you read what's on the damn screen. All right, here it goes, guys.
I'll
This is
try.
gonna be a gift for everybody.
Oh, no, that's that. See, like, if I'm going to say it in my Russian, I would say purple burger alarm, but Scottish people say purple burger alarm.
Purple burger.
But I try to soften everything when I'm here, so people can actually understand me, like purple burger alarm.
There you go, man. I couldn't believe. You know what? I should have thought about this earlier and gotten you like uh straight into the damn chat stream, because this is one thing that I like looking at videos where people have accents. Like there's the Baltimore accent where they go like Aaron, like they're talking all funny, but purple burger. It's
Yeah.
for the. It's hilarious.
Yakutsk.
Yakutsk. It's
That's
here in
your place.
Siberia. Yeah, it's near this place.
No,
Yeah.
I've not left Moscow since I arrived on the 24th of August, so I've probably, but I enjoy it here. Is that for me? Thank you.
Yeah.
If that's thank you if you've subscribed. I really appreciate anyone that would subscribe, because it's very difficult to get a YouTube channel off the ground, because you're up against all these other great content creators that have got so many videos. So if anybody does want to subscribe and watch my videos, I would really appreciate it. No, for me, I'm paid pretty well here. I'm paid better here than I am in the UK. I've got a cost of living video actually that I spoke about, that I get taxed 13%, 13, where in Scotland I would be getting taxed 45%, 45. So here I'm better off here, much better off.
Yeah, he made a video, guys, breaking down how much he pays for his flat, how much he pays for groceries every week, how much he pays for utilities. And this is something that you guys have to keep in your head. In Russia, maybe let's say the wages are lower. Let's just pretend that because some people do get paid more than they do in the West, but some people get paid much lower.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that everything costs much less here. So that the purchasing power of a Russian actually is much greater than someone in the West, because they don't have to pay $500 for the car, $500 for the insurance, $1,000 to $2,000 for rent. So you have to think about that. A lot of people, when they watch our videos, they think, oh yeah, but you're not earning as much as you would in the West. Well, yeah, obviously we're not earning as much as we earn in the West here, but we're also not paying hundreds and thousands of dollars on electricity, on water, on internet. Just for internet alone, I can tell you right now, the fastest and best internet I've ever had in my life is here in Russia. And it's particularly cheap here in Irkutsk Oblast, because electricity is almost free, because we have hydraulic electricity generators. Now, electricity and internet is some of the cheapest things you're going to find. Water is basically free. You guys already know that. Just remember that. Let's see. Let's continue on with the questions. We'll do this about for 3 more questions.
Yeah,
and,
man, I'm enjoying it. Keep going.
Yeah. Let's see.
They love caviar here, and again, it's quite affordable. But I don't like it. Unfortunately, I'm not huge on seafood. I prefer kuritsa, chicken. Love it.
Oh yeah, I love kuritsa. This one's for me. So if my friend Jay and Timothy come to Siberia and they bring the gear, or we can rent gear here, I always promised myself in the military that I would not jump off planes or dive into water. Like, I'm a grunt. I'll fight on land. I like feeling that dirt under my feet. But if they come, Jay, I'll go down there and I'll do whatever they do. Even though this is the deepest lake in the world. And I don't know how it works, man. If they come, I'll scuba. Let's see. Oh, this is just a compliment here.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Sam.
much.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Gray. Appreciate it. We get so many
Do you
compliments here. This is amazing.
do you get this a lot, by the way? Like, I never get told that my accent is nice. Usually they make fun of me because I'm a Mexican American and I sound like I guess like a poor gangster from LA, but like what do they say about your accent?
It's generally favourable in the comments section. I don't get a lot, but people will say it's a nice accent. I guess if people can understand me, then I think they like it. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's like the Irish Scottish thing. People tend to like that accent.
Yeah, I think it's definitely I think it's such a unique accent that people can distinguish it. And when you can distinguish an accent, it's much
Hmm.
more favorable. I really like the the Scottish accent.
Beer culture. I mean, there's lots of craft beers. They love craft beers. I had one today. I can't remember what it was, but I was out with my girlfriend. She had like a cherry flavored beer. I had some dark beer, but it was like the choice. That's one thing. The choice here is just unbelievable. And if you go to places, in Moscow anyway. I guess maybe it's not where you are, but
No, no,
in
no. I
Moscow,
was gonna say it's ridiculous how much because I've been to Moscow. It's ridiculous how much there is.
yeah. No, definitely not. I've not left Moscow since I arrived. I've not been home, but I've also not even went to any other cities on vacation because my vacations here. I enjoy being here and just walking around. So I love it. I've not been in the Bolshoi Theatre, but I've been around it, walked around it. It's just pristine white, beautiful. I think it's very expensive for the tickets, I think, but I've been to the theatre in the Kremlin with a show, but never the Bolshoi Theatre. I do get paid in rubles, yes. Every 2 weeks, roughly, I get paid in rubles.
Let's see. Okay, guys, we're gonna stop the questions for now, and I'm gonna move over in a section of this live that I think is really important because I have to open up about my process about living in Russia. I told Jim that I would talk a little bit about it because originally I came here as a tourist. As many of you guys know, I came in 2022. I have a similar story to Jim where I wanted to come in 2019, but the COVID thing popped off, and I took my chances in 2022. No matter what I said, I have to go. I have to experience it. But I was on a tourist visa with a two-way ticket. I had a plane ticket to Russia, and I had a plane ticket out. I never ended up flying back. And you go through like a mental thing in Russia where you have to question yourself, like, can I do it? Can I actually pull it off? And once you go over that hill and you say, okay, I can do it, I can live here, and you start figuring out, how to shop, how to find work, how to find friends, how to build your new life in Russia, it comes way easier after you get over that hump because it's like smooth sailing. And compared to the West in California where I lived, it was like problem after problem. It was a new movement that I had to worry about, and bills that were ridiculous. Those kind of things disappear in Russia. So I decided that's enough. I'm gonna move to Russia, and this is like me breaking the news for anybody who's new to the channel. This year, I plan on getting married. I brought all the required paperwork. This year, I intend to apply for a Russian residency, and this year I plan on finishing the house. I bought land and a unfinished house that I'm going to build this year. So guys, you can make your dreams come true in Russia. You just have to get over the comfort zone. I think that in the West they kind of tell you this is what you have to do to be successful and be happy. But in Russia, there's multiple ways of being happy. This bump that I'm talking about, Jim, once you're
Mm,
in Russia, did you get over that? You said, I can do it and I'm going to stick to my guns?
Yeah, it was round about Christmas time. So I arrived in August, and then it was straight into the job. And of course, you're going out. I know I said I don't like nightclubs, but of course, when you first get somewhere, you're excited, you're going out all the time. And but then it was a little bit overwhelming at one point, because it was like just everything was difficult, just like, because you didn't know anywhere, you didn't know where to go, so everything was new. So eventually you get a little bit tired of every single day being something brand new. But then round about Christmas time, Australian guy that I know, he's been here for a while. He's been here for about 6 years, I think. His girlfriend actually works with me, so I got speaking to him. He took me out to a few places. I got into shisha, like smoking the shisha, and like there's like yoga classes and stuff. And just like I think it's creating a community for yourself. It's creating you need some friends. You need people to hang out with and people to help you. You do need a little bit of help. So I would say that, and then once it got to about New Year, since then, I've just loved it, and I've been really waiting for the weather to change, which is pretty much changing now. We had a couple of bad days last week, but I was just getting this excitement of like, okay, I feel at home now. I'm starting to like, for a while, I just had a bag of clothes and my laptop. I've got the apartment, but I never set anything up. And now like, my girlfriend, I let her choose, but like we bought the rug and the plants and stuff, and I'm starting to make more of a life for me here. And I love my job, got great friends. So you need. I could see how a lot of people could maybe be like, this is too hard. But once you get over that, it's just like little things. Like when I go to get my coffee at the same place, they recognize me. I go to the breakfast place at the weekend, the cafe, they recognize me, they say hello, and it's like so you only need a few months to get over that initial hump of like, this is so because it is so different to where we're from. I could come to
Yeah.
America, and other than the accent, I understand the culture and I can speak the language. But coming here, it's very different. It's very different, but it's so worth it. I mean, I don't want to leave. I love it here. I'm like you. I see my future here, not as in, I'll just work here for a few years, then I'll go somewhere else. I see this as like, no, this is my life here, and I love it.
And it's very clear, for me at least, when I saw the vision like in my head, I was like, oh, I can mark point A, point B, point C, point D, and it kind of falls into place. Since I've been in Russia, things kind of fall into place a lot easier. If I set the goal, it's very little things that get in my way if I work hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
This is from my experience. I'm like achieving goals that my brothers or my sisters in America can simply not even begin. For instance, like owning land and a house.
Mm-hmm.
Is very hard right now for Californians. And of course, if I had an education and if I was like a millionaire, I could do it in California, but not everybody has that luxury. Not everybody starts in the same location with the same wealth, but in Russia, it feels like the starting line for everybody is more or less the same place. Like you and me, we could probably achieve the same thing in our lifetime if we work hard at it. And I'm a firm believer of like you get what you deserve. And Russia is a place where you can actually benefit from that quote.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would get as much from another place as I would in Russia. Of course, I would be a hard worker no matter what, and I would survive, but I don't want to just survive, I want to live. So in Russia, here in Siberia, this is my heaven right now. I cannot wait to show the people what I'm going to build. What is your plans for like the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Like as far as we know you have an apartment, we know you have a job. What are some goals that you have?
Well, I mean, I really love the job and the company that I work for. So I would like to sort of work hard to move up the ladder in that. I thought about buying a place here, but I think I'll probably send my money home and invest it elsewhere. And just because it's all, for me, it's easier to have the money there than to buy in Moscow, just because the who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind. At the moment, I'm sending my money home. But no, I want to stay here. I'd love to have a family and have kids and have a good life here. Goes back to what you were saying. Everything's so achievable here, I feel, because the services here are so good, but also the basics are so affordable here. Your utilities and your travel and your rent and things like that. I know when I done my video, some people thought the rent was high, but it's nowhere near as high as it is in Scotland, and I'm sure it's nowhere near as high as it is in California. I see videos of what people are paying for things in America, and it's just unbelievable. So I think to have a good life here, it's a lot. I wouldn't say it's easier. I would say it's a lot more attainable than in certain places in the UK, or if you went to like London. Because I've got to remember as well, I'm in the biggest city. There's more people in Moscow than there is in the whole of Scotland. Like, there's more people in this city than there is in that country. So this is bigger than London. I'm in this huge cities, and everything's still so affordable, attainable. Again, so I just want to work hard in my job, settle down, have all the normal things that people want, like family and things like that, and good friends, and just enjoy my life, which I'm doing here.
Yeah, and look, I feel that if anybody who's watching right now wants to come and live in Russia, I always say always come as a tourist first, and always look for your place. Russia will definitely see through everybody who doesn't deserve or shouldn't be in Russia. I think Russia is a special place where it kind of filters things out. Not a lot of things fall through the cracks in Russia. So again, don't come to Russia if you're a bad person. I've made a video actually saying do not come to Russia, and you should go watch it. If you fall into those categories of the things that define you as a person who doesn't even fit into not only Russian society but other societies, don't do it. I'm going to put on. Let's go ask more questions, guys. You guys can direct these questions towards me now and the guest. We're gonna do a closing, maybe 8 to 10 more minutes of questions, and then we'll do a closing of the live. But feel free to ask me any questions. You already know me for the most part. I've been here for 2 years now, a little bit over 2 years, and the experiences that I have are going to be different than Jim's, but I guarantee you, I will answer with honesty. So if you guys have any questions about building houses, buying land, this is what I'm doing right now. Go ahead and feel free to ask, and we'll get on with the questions. What the heck is this? I have no idea what this is.
Roscosmos. I've never heard of that. I'm afraid. I don't know. Is it a city, or I'm not sure.
Yeah. So this year is the year where I officially bought my own place, guys. If you didn't know, I did a live with a plastic Russian talking about how I bought a plot of land, and it cost me 10,000. It was $10,000. It is a beautiful plot of land. It's sitting between two little mountain ranges inside of town, in the best part of town where the sun is always shining. So yeah, I definitely jumped off the world this time and bought the land. I've been trying to get in contact with me. Well, look, the best way you can do it is joining my Telegram or emailing me. So I always reply to every comment. I always reply to every person as long as I get the chance to read. Let's see. Here. So this is one thing that I want to elaborate on. When I say you get what you deserve, a lot of Russian people, I understand, are in a different boat than us foreigners. I think that the Russian mentality is that your life is much worse than it really is. I think that foreigners, especially from like Western world, there's been a thumb over us that is unexplainable. Our societies kind of are really rotting away. So if I took you to my hood in Los Angeles, I don't think you would survive maybe even a week. And I'm not even trying to exaggerate. I just don't think that you would be able to handle the violence. And I don't think that you would be able to handle the rat race. My mother, an immigrant from Mexico, has had to work 3 jobs since she's 18 years old, waking up since she's 18 years old from 3 to 10. We work from sun to sun every day, no exceptions. And I'm not trying to sound like a victim. I'm just saying that's the life that we chose. So in Russia, I realize people have a little bit more leisure time. They don't have to worry about getting shot every day. They don't have to be worried about getting robbed every day. So believe me, your life is not so bad, and you actually have a good society. You obviously think that you deserve more. You probably do, but I think you should really appreciate what you have. Russia's a beautiful country. People are getting a lot better lives these days. Since I've been in Slyudanka, my town has progressed so much more than I've ever seen anything. Irkutsk, the city, has progressed so much more than I've ever seen in my lifetime in Los Angeles. I hope that answers your comment there. Let's see. You can answer that while I look for more questions.
I don't know much about the contribution, but a lot of people tell me things in my comment sections how there's been a lot of Scottish contributions to Russia, and a lot of people share heritage with Scotland and Russia, but I don't know the details myself. But a lot of people are telling me in my comments, so I'm learning.
As far as tacos, Xenia today bought tortillas and some cheese, so I make quesadillas for her. I don't really miss the Mexican food because I was just in Mexico, so it's gonna take about 1 or 2 years again for me to miss Mexican food. Yeah. But by the way, Croatu, uh, I really appreciate having these topics. Like when I speak, maybe I sound a little bit angry, or maybe I sound like a lunatic, but it's just my way of expressing. Do not take it personally. I think that these type of conversations are really, really nice because we get to exchange ideas, and I do respect your point of view, by the way. And if you were to be on the live and you spoke to me directly, I would totally accept what you have to say, and we would be on our merry way. Guys, if you joined this live today, this is my guest Jim. He is the only Scottish man in Russia, and this is gonna be this is gonna be the truth until some other Scottish guy produces videos and we get to see him. Um, let's wind down here, Jim. Give us a recap of who you are and what you are about, and plug in your channel and any other things you want to plug in.
Yeah, man. So, Scottish guy, obviously from a little town, grew up in a little town outside of Glasgow, which is a big city. Always dreamt of being somewhere else. Spent most of my life traveling. Lived in a few other countries, mostly English-speaking countries. Came to this region in about 2019 and just fell in love with the culture, the people, the language, everything, and started learning the language. Went back and forward. Wanted to come here a few years ago. COVID hit, like it hit everybody, and put everything on hold for a few years. Arrived here about 8 months ago, and I work as a teacher, like an employed job, not like working online teaching English. I've got a job here, and I've started making videos about 6 weeks ago, something like that. Wasn't sure how it would be received, but people seem to be interested. So I'm just, from my channel, which is Scottish Guy in Moscow, on Instagram and YouTube. I'm not on Instagram too much. It's mostly just to promote my YouTube. What I try to do is just tell the truth. I've got no agenda. There's no politics, nothing like that. I just walk about with my camera, trying to show people what it's really like, because I feel that in my country, Russia doesn't really get a fair representation. Let's say, it's just, I I didn't know much about it. A few years ago, my family, my friends, when I told them I was coming here, didn't know much about it. And I just want to show people how amazing this city is and how great these people are. I really love it here, and I want to stay for a long time.
Awesome. And by the way, my friends, if you're still watching and you haven't liked, it does help when you hit like. Obviously, the stream has been going on for about an hour and 30 minutes. I would truly appreciate it if you guys could get the like button slammed a little bit, because the way the algorithms work is that if there's more likes, if there's more comments, it gets spread to other people and we could expand the community. So, Jim, it was a pleasure having you guys, having you on. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, all you have to do is go and on the search and put Scottish guy in Moscow. It's literally what he is. He's producing content from Moscow. There's not enough people in Moscow, in my opinion, producing content. This is the biggest city in Europe population-wise. It is a beautiful city that should be covered from all angles. And thank you so much for joining us today. All right.
I appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, and anybody that's watching, if you would subscribe, I'd really appreciate that as well. And I'm going to be trying to put out 2 to 3 videos per week, and just to show as much as possible. So I'm glad to be part of this community. Thanks very much.
Take it easy. And guys, we're going to stay on for a little bit longer, just to do a little bit of cleanup on the conversation that we're having right now. This stream is talking about how to move to Russia in 2024, and it is much easier than you would expect. Russia is a generous country, even though the world has thrown dirt on it, even though the world has treated it so badly, it is still allowing people to get their Russian visa. So my advice to you is, if you want to travel to Russia, get the visa now. Even if you're going to travel in 1 or 2 years, get it as soon as possible so that you won't be denied a Russian visa in the future if your country happens to be denied entry into Russia, right? This is my advice to you. Get the Russian visa now. You don't want to be the guy who gets it late. I have a lot of friends right now who are applying to get the Russian visa, and they're going to have it, and they're not going to be able to be taken away. So if you get it now, you're not going to be robbed of your visa. Let's see. How do they tax after paying the house or a land? So this is a really good question. I'm gonna give you the information as soon as I get over signing everything over. Right now I'm halfway, but it's in the bag now. I'm gonna get to know all the taxes. I'm gonna get to know how much everything costs by the year and stuff like this. It is what it is. Um, if nobody has any other questions, where Ksenia? Ksenia is currently painting her nails. It is 11 in the evening, and actually it's pretty late here in Siberia. This stream was made because I thought it was really important for you guys to know that you should visit Russia, but you should do it in a responsible way. You should get your visa as soon as possible, and if you need visa help, if you're American especially, I will be making a video finally so you guys can watch it. Did you have to get proof of not being married in your home country? Yes, this is one of the requirements. To get married in Russia, you're going to need an apostilled sheet that says you have not been married in your country. This is really easy to get, but it does take some time, so do it with time. Yeah, no problem, guys. This channel is all about expanding the community. I know that my channel is probably not going to be here for a long time or forever, because I need to eventually raise my family. I eventually need to move on. But as long as I'm here, I'm going to be growing the community, and I'm going to keep showing you guys other content creators that you might not know or already know. Yeah. So if you guys don't know Jay and Timothy, these people, man. are so important in to my channel at least, and part of the Russian expat community. Like the knowledge that Jay brings, the amount of people that she's helped, and actually she's helped me a lot, not only through donations but like through advice, through like therapy of being in Russia. And just so you know, Jay, if you can hear me, I will have your room here once the house is built. You can come anytime you want. I want to have enough room for everybody. I will be working on fishing videos, of course, but right now it's just started fishing season, and it's pretty hard to catch a pike. Uh, Honestly, right now is really hard. They're probably too deep into the water column and too far from the shore. I don't have a boat. I don't have a kayak yet to go fishing into the water. So it is what it is. Um, yeah, I think that creating content, if I have a family, I don't want people to feel that I would be hiding my wife or my child, but Ksenia's already doing so much for me, being in the videos, that I don't want to push her and my child on, right? I know a lot of content creators, they put their children on, but I don't think that that's something I would do personally. I wouldn't um, put my child or my pregnant wife, or like Ksenia will do whatever she wants. This is what I think. We will see what happens. By the way, that is the Scottish guy in Moscow. If you haven't subscribed to him, give him a chance. It doesn't cost you guys any money to subscribe. Yeah, ya Lulu Ribalku. Ya Ribalka, ya Ribalku Zavtra in the Utra. Okay, I'm gonna go fishing tomorrow in the morning. My Russian is horrible. You this is something I'm gonna say before I get off. Yeah, of course I'm gonna go fishing. That's what it's gonna be, guys. Um, I'm gonna sign off with my final thoughts. Wait 1 second. Okay, I'll answer some of you guys' questions. Is there anything you would do different to move to Russia? Yeah, if I would have gone earlier, it would be the best. Ethan, you're gonna have to get this with your local government, like state government. If you live in the United States, you have to go right to the capital. You can look on their website. It's always in the capital state or country that you're in. City, capital city, or capital administrative building. Dan, why don't you put the Mir card number in the description? For Russians, it is more convenient to throw on the map for the development of the channel. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Is Mir card? I don't know. God, I'm so embarrassed. Jay, help me. I don't know what the Mir is. Is this? I don't know. For Russians, it is more convenient to throw on the map for the development. I don't know what that means. Russian card Mir? Oh, okay. It's yeah, okay. Okay, I get it. Yeah, so I don't currently I'm not able right now. I can't even receive money from the West. They sanctioned my buy me a coffee. I think the future of this channel, if I were to take donations, it's going to be through either YouTube memberships or it's going to be through the Russian Mir card. Um, the reality is that the more the channel grows, the more I get pressured from the West. Like the Buy Me a Coffee, they cut off my channel. It happened to a lot of channels, by the way. A lot of channels that are producing content in Russia, you can no longer donate to them. That is how I used to get help from my friends. And actually, like my new GoPro, my new microphone was donated by people like Jay and Timothy, uh, who sent money through the Buy Me a Coffee. But as much as the channel grows, it gets really hard. Yeah, I do have PayPal, but that is another option. I haven't put it on, Jay, but this mirror thing, if you're Russian and you would like to help, I will eventually put it on after Ksenia says it's okay. Um, a lot of the things I I hold off until Ksenia says it's okay. Hello, Dan from Northern Argentina. By the way, para todos los que estén mirando desde Latinoamérica, un saludo muy grande. Se los agradezco mucho que estén viendo mis videos porque en realidad pienso que no hay suficiente gente que hable español en Rusia. Pienso que es importante que la gente de Sudamérica, de todo, bueno, de México, creo que ellos deben de visitar a Rusia. Es un país que nos aceptan tan bien. Aquí no te juzgan si eres de Argentina, de Ecuador, de Perú, de Chile, de Bolivia, de Paraguay, de Uruguay, de Colombia, de Venezuela, de Panamá, de Costa Rica, de Nicaragua, de El Salvador, de Guatemala, de Honduras, de México. A ellos no les importa si tú vienes de un país que habla español. Tú ven y visita Rusia y disfrútala. Yeah, so all I wanted to say was that the oh my God, that's my friend Mike. He's a Polish guy in Costa Rica. That's probably my best internet friend from a long time ago when I was young. Um, Look, anybody who wants to come to Russia in 2024 is welcome. But I'll tell you, in Russia, if you come with the sword, you will die by the sword. This is the reality. You will not make it in Russia if you come and try to make harm. If you come with a bad heart, you will ultimately fail. So I'm going to cut the live off now. Um, this has been a really good information for me to learn about the mirror card. If you're interested in helping me, I will talk to Ksenia and we will put a mirror card. Oh my God, it's Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Jaime. Uh, Thank you, my friend. This is another great friend of mine who has really helped a lot. Um, I feel so happy to be back home here. This is not only the Russia, this is Siberia, uh, a special place, a special part of Russia. Um, I will be trying to post a video tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Please hit like. And if you haven't watched my videos, go back and watch them. The channel has been growing again. It stopped growing because I stopped making videos. But join my Telegram. There you can keep up to date. I post personal things. And if you have Instagram, follow Ksenia. Ksenia loves posting pictures on Instagram. This is her Instagram. Follow Ksenia on Instagram. She posts photos of our personal life, like where we travel. So I pinned it on the chat. It is Crazy Boont. This is her Instagram. You can follow her and you can see what she's up to, guys. She loves posting nature. If you love photographs, if you love videos about Siberia, Mexico, go follow her right now. What do I teach in Siberia? I'm not a teacher right now. I have to regain my confidence to do conversational English. This is what I was doing, fixing people's accents. Even though I know I sound like a weirdo, but it's how it works. Let's see. She loved Mexico. There's going to be videos from Mexico as well. I'm just so backed up. I'm so sad that I didn't produce so much content, but I was really depressed. I was depressed for many months because I was not in Russia. Uh, it's how it works. Oh, Jay, that's so cute. Thank you, Jay, for the donation. I truly love you so much. You know, you mean so much to me. Uh, so yeah, Yeah, the super stickers are great. But the best thing to do is probably uh the direct PayPal and the mirror thing in the future. But Jay, you don't have. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You've already done so much. I don't know what to say. I'm just so proud of uh of this community. We've grown. I'm gonna check my phone really quickly to see how many subscribers we have. We have uh 50 57,825. That is unbelievable. Because when we started this channel, it was with the intentions of showing my mother that I'm still alive in Russia. If you guys have been following for a long time, my first video is me going fishing in a vertical camera. And I made this video because my mom thought I was dead. My mom is a veteran of like being a mother. When I was in the war, she worried so much, and when I don't communicate with her for like 2 3 days, she thinks I'm off in a mission in combat. So I told her, I'm going to make a video of me, and you can see me, mother. And this channel is dedicated to my mother and to all of Russia. I don't know what Cash App is, but if you want to donate, you can donate through PayPal or Venmo. I'll give the information on my Telegram. Para las popusas. That is so funny. Thank you. That's really, thank you so much. Para las pupusas, if you don't know, that is a national dish basically of El Salvador. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next weekend with another guest. If you have any suggestions of who you would like to see on, you can comment on their videos. You should comment not to me, but tell your content creators, hey, go and be on Wild Siberia Live. This is really important for me. I love to talk to people. If you have content creators that you want to see on my channel, spam their videos saying, hey, go on the Wild Siberia Live. Okay? Uh, thank you so much, my friends. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.